The knife didn't tremble in my hand. It lay perfectly still against the cutting board, half buried in the skin of a ripe pear, sweet, obedient, split without protest. Her voice sliced harder than steel. He's leaving to live with his biological father. No apology, no hesitation, just a statement, delivered like a weather report. She said it casually, like we were discussing the grocery list, not the boy I'd raised, fed, clothed, protected. The boy who hugged my leg when thunder shook the windows. The boy who called me Dad before he could pronounce his own name. I turned slowly. Her eyes flickered, not with remorse, but calculation. She expects a reaction. I offered none. Silence stretched between us, taut enough to suffocate. She cleared her throat, continuing with that bitter cheerfulness she used when she believed she'd won something. He's 18. He wants to know his real family. And since his father finally wants him, her words trailed like air leaking from a dying balloon. Real family. Real family. The blade pressed deeper into the pear, sap beading like blood. I had paid for everything: school, braces, medical bills, rent when she lost her job. I taught him how to tie a tie. I taught him how to stand up straight. Now he wanted real. I nodded once, not because I agreed, but because emotion is a luxury granted to the naive. "All right," I said. Just one word. Cold. Even. Controlled. Her smile faltered. Victory tastes different when your opponent doesn't bleed. It didn't begin with that conversation. It began years earlier, with whispers behind bathroom doors, late-night messages she guarded like state secrets, sudden trips to visit her sister. I noticed. I always notice. But good soldiers don't shoot shadows. They wait for shapes. When she first mentioned his biological father reconnecting, her voice carried a tremor she tried to disguise as sentimentality. A mother's joy, she claimed, a chance for him to know his roots. Roots. Funny word. I had watered that tree alone. The boy approached me 2 nights later, shoulders tense, shame in every blink. I think it's best. I need to know where I come from." He couldn't hold my gaze. I nodded again. He mistook silence for acceptance. People always misunderstand silence. They forget silence is a room where decisions sharpen. When they left, whispering together like conspirators afraid to wake something sleeping, I sat in the dark and listened to the refrigerator hum. Not grief, not betrayal, just calculation. I didn't chase. I didn't beg. Men like me don't need to scream to be heard. We simply remove our support and let gravity handle the rest. I moved quietly. Phone records, financial forms, emails she never assumed I had access to. I traced the story they'd built, the fantasy reunion, the new family, the plan to embrace real blood while leaving the man who financed their lives to fade like an old photograph. His college tuition hadn't been a gift. It was a promise. One they mistook for obligation. At night I sat in his empty room, at the desk I assembled when he was 12, and read through the scholarship agreements. My name attached, my guarantees, my financial responsibility. They thought I'd nod and fund their fairy tale. They thought loyalty was a burden I carried for them to exploit. They forgot loyalty is a choice, and choices expire. The dean's office was polite, professional, surprised when I rescinded my financial sponsorship. "Family circumstances changed," I murmured. A truth. Soft as velvet, sharp as wire. I walked out without looking back. Some men destroy with fury, others destroy with paperwork. I prefer the latter. It leaves cleaner lines. The call came 3 days later. Her voice wasn't calm anymore. It was frantic, cracked. "They revoked his financial aid. They said he lost his sponsor. What did you do?" I sliced through silence like glass. Nothing you didn't choose. A choked breath. Panic. Good. She stammered, about fairness, about responsibility, about love. The words sounded foreign in her mouth. I didn't argue, I didn't soothe. I simply listened to her unravel, thread by thread, until she realized the fabric she stood on had been held up by my hands all along. Months later, the holidays approached. I received a call, not from her, from another daughter, the wife of my eldest son from my previous marriage. Her tone was sharp, entitled. If you want to join Thanksgiving, come wash the dishes first. A command, not a request. I smiled to myself. Enjoy, I replied, and ended the call. No explanation, no emotion. I boarded a plane to Switzerland that evening. Snow greeted me like an old confidant. My villa, quiet, immaculate, overlooking the lake, waited in serene silence. I poured a drink, took a photo, then another. Fireplace, crystal glass, mountain view, the world I built, alone. I posted them privately, not to boast, just to mark the moment. 71 missed calls followed, voicemails full of apology, confusion, desperation. Entitlement always turns to panic when the well dries. I didn't answer. Let absence speak. Absence is louder than rage. People call it cruelty when a man withdraws from those who never truly stood with him. But cruelty is expecting someone to fund betrayal, applaud disrespect, and serve humiliation with a grateful smile. I gave everything, quietly, completely. They mistook devotion for weakness, support for servitude, love for leverage. Now they know better. I feel no triumph, only clarity. Some ties are blood, some ties are forged, and some ties deserve to break. I didn't slam the door. I simply stopped holding it open. They can scream into the void all they want. The void doesn't answer. I don't need to win. I only needed to walk away and watch them drown in the space where my loyalty used to be. And I have never breathed cleaner air.